Hello everybody, my name is Kevin Dunlap, the founder and the lead trainer for Optimal Performance Academy. And in this video, we're going to be going over the 15 questions most new entrepreneurs, most new coaches or trainers or even consultants that what they ask as they're trying to either start, grow, or maintain their business. So let's go ahead and go through these 15 different questions. Number one is, how do I define my niche, or how do I define my niche? Now, what you want to find out is, what is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you actually have some knowledge and some experience with? And then go online and do some research. Is there a demand for that? And if there is, this is going to be where you're going to be starting looking at the keywords that people are looking for. You're going to be looking at the questions that they have, the problems that they have that you can actually solve. Now, when you start looking at this niche or this niche, you're going to be building your website and all of your marketing campaigns and marketing material around those questions, around those keywords. The second question is, how do I come up with my coaching rates? How much can I charge? Now, another thing that you're going to be doing when you're doing your online research is to find other people who are in a similar field as you are, and then go in there and find out what are they charging. Now, whatever it is that you're going to be deciding about charging, you can go a little bit low, and as you get more experience, as you get more knowledge in this space, then you can start raising your rates. Now, you can always grandfather your previous clients back. Say, yes, I'm only going to charge you $2,500 or $3,000 for this stuff. However, anybody else that's coming on, it's going to be $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is that you feel is comfortable for you. The next question would be, what are the legal steps that you may need to take? Now, I am not an attorney. I am not a CPA either. So what you're going to have to be doing is go out and find a business attorney that see about creating are you going to be an LLC? Are you going to be a C Corp? Are you going to be an S Corp? Or whatever it is that you do. Now, remember, this is not legal advice, but if you do not pick an entity structure, if you're working by yourself, you're going to default to what is known as a sole proprietor. This is going to be whatever state that you're going to be living in. Now, as a sole proprietor, you're going to be opening up to a bit of potential litigation, as well as you don't have all the tax advantages of being an actual official entity like an LLC, an LP, a C Corp, or an S Corp. Now, as a sole proprietor, you want to be careful on there. If you do start your business and you have not done anything yet, you'll be operating as that sole proprietor. And if you have a business partner, then this is known as a general partnership. Now, those are legal structures that you can use, and they're the easiest ones to form. However, again, talk with an attorney as to which best entity it is for you today, as well as where you could be possibly going into the future. And again, when you're speaking with that attorney, you're going to be probably want to have them help you develop your contracts and any other things that you may be needing in your business. The next question is, where do you find your clients? Now, this is one of the things that most people tend to fall short on, is how do you find those initial clients? Well, as we already were talking about before, when you're starting to develop your business, you want to find out what are some of the keywords, what are some of the problems that they have. And then what you want to do is use the power of social media, use the power of being online to create a way to go and find those clients. Find out where those people reside. For an example, if you're a business coach, maybe you want to go to networking events. Maybe you go to online networking events. There's all kinds of ones out there. If you're on a website like, say, Alignable, you can go to what's known as a Smart Connect. If you're on other websites like HNP or Happy Networking People, you can go to their regular events to go and attend those. Also, you may want to go to places like meetup.com. Look at any kind of networking events that could either be in your local area or or that you can be able to do online. There's other places like what is known as a BNI. These are other places where you can go and to start getting your name out there. Now, also, what else can you find your clients? Well, the thing is, When you are doing your keyword searches, you want to make sure that any kind of YouTube videos like this one right here, or any blogs that you write, anything that you do has those keywords that are going to be redirecting people back to your website. Now they could go to a landing page on your website, or they could go to your home page, or maybe an article that you've written. So the way to go and find more of your clients is to go and network more. Other places that you can go is, if you're trying to do, say, business networking, is to establish a good profile on LinkedIn.com. Now, there's two kinds of things when you're doing things on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, in my opinion, there's two different kinds of profiles that you can create. The first one is going to be where you're a business owner and you're going to talk about what is your expertise. This is how long I've been in business. This is what I do. However, I'll say probably 90% of the people out there that create a LinkedIn profile actually create it as if it was their resume, and which is perfectly fine. If you're looking for a job, having a LinkedIn profile that's more like a resume driven, then that's going to be perfectly fine. However, if you're trying to build a business, you may want to convert your LinkedIn profile not to say, I worked here for 3 years and this was my job. I worked here for 2 years, this was my job. I worked here for 3 years, this was my job. You may say, hey, this is my business. I've been in business for whatever time you've been in business, and this is what we do. And make it more of a profile as a business rather than an individual looking for a job. And the next question is, how do I market my business or my coaching business even so? Well, number one is you're going to, we just talked about this in the last question, is to update your LinkedIn profile. The other way is you want to create your online presence. There's nothing bigger than trying to create that online presence. Now, this can be done through a variety of things. Number one is you're going to want to make sure that you are okay with being in front of the camera. So that's what that means, is you can start creating some YouTube videos, maybe some YouTube shorts, maybe Facebook lives, LinkedIn lives, Instagrams, Reels, and TikToks. And just start getting your name out there. Now, the more you're going to be out there, especially when you have links going back to your website, you're going to rank higher on YouTube as well as Google and these other platforms. Now, let me just say something to you. In 2009, I started shooting video when I was a real estate consultant for my real estate business. And what I was doing there was I was shooting video of all of my houses. I even did FAQs and other teaching stuff as well. However, I just started shooting video of all of my houses. And with that being said, I would actually put those videos up on YouTube. Actually, let me go ahead and rephrase this. When I was in front of the camera, I would always shoot in front of the camera and I would say, hello, everybody, this is Kevin Dunlap with, here's my name, my company. And then I would introduce the house, like say the square footage and other details about the house. Then I would shoot the third part of the video, which I call the tail slate, which is me saying, hey, thank you for taking a look at 123 Main Street. For more information about this home or any of our homes, and I would just close out the home in front of the camera. So therefore I shot the first, which was the introduction, the third, which was the tail slate, and then the second one would have been, at that time, is I would shoot a narrated tour of the house. Starting from the street, I would go through the house, and I was talking on the video as if somebody was actually looking at this home from another state or possibly even another country. So I'll point out the flooring, I'll paint the roof or ceiling, and then I would go through the house narrating as I was going through. And then, and I also did that as one single shot. The reason I did it as one single shot, because I had a history where I had worked in film before. And since I was walking through the house, I wanted the audience member or the viewer to see it as if they were walking there beside with me as we were just walking through the house. If I just walked into a room and did a circle, walked into another room and did a circle and then just combine those two circles together, there was no guarantee. Subconsciously, there was no guarantee that was the same house that they were going to be looking at. I could have easily gone into 123 Main Street, shot the living room, go to 456 Main Street across the street, and shoot the kitchen there, and then just say, hey, these are the same house. But by having it actually walking from outside, passing the number on the house, deliberately pausing on that, and then walking through the house as one continuous take, as one continuous cut, that showed to the viewer that this was that one house. And I did hundreds of these, probably even 1,000 of these videos. So what you're going to have to be willing to do is, if when you're marketing yourself, is to be okay with being in front of the camera. It may take one take, it may take two takes. Even if you have a cut here and there, it doesn't really matter that much. The thing is, I'm sure you've seen these videos or seen the YouTube videos where somebody's talking and then they jump over here and they're talking again. And that, obviously that was an obvious cut. That's perfectly fine. People are aware of that, and most people won't even notice it all that much. Now, the next thing is, what are the tools and the resources that I need to run a business? Well, depending on what kind of business that you have, you're going to be needing things like, if you're going to be shooting video, as an example right now, you see I got a microphone here on my shirt, I've got a tripod here in front of me, I've got a camera mount holder there, and then I've got my cell phone, and I'm recording directly into my cell phone. And I know exactly where the camera lens is, because I'm not looking in the center here, I'm actually looking at where the camera is. So speaking in front of the camera. So these are 4 tools that you're going to be needing. Other tools could be obviously having a laptop, internet connection, and then some kind of a video editing software. And this could be done on your phone, or it could be done on your laptop. Whichever kind of, if you've got a PC or a Mac or an iPhone or a Droid, there are other kinds of programs out there. What else that you need is you're going to probably be needing some marketing materials. You're going to probably, whatever it is specific to your industry. Now, for me, one of the things I've done is to show that having an authority is I actually written 4 books on 4 completely different topics. And now I can actually talk on any of those 4 topics. So if you are thinking about becoming an author, and by the way, the word author is actually derived from the word authority. So when you write a book on a particular subject, and assuming the content is good, that makes you the authority on that topic. And this also can be a gift or an initial buy item that somebody can buy from you. So for an example, if you come to one of my programs, maybe I'll give you a free copy or a free ebook of one of my books because you attended the event. Now, me giving you an ebook version, that costs me nothing, but it can give a lot of value whenever you are speaking with a client. So the next question can become, how do I build an online presence? Now, the best way to build an online presence is to do stuff that is online. One of the things is to do video. Shooting video, it can build your presence, especially if you've got keywords in your video that can redirect back to your website. In a previous question, we were talking about the importance of shooting video, and I used to say that I shot a lot of videos of all of my houses. Back in 2009, when I started shooting video, in 2010, 2011, 2012, if you typed in certain keywords, and at this particular time, I was a real estate consultant living in Las Vegas, Nevada, that specialized in doing lease option real estate. And after a little while, if you typed in the words lease option Las Vegas, I would appear on page 1 of Google at least 4 times. And 2 of the times that I appeared was because of my YouTube videos. The YouTube videos are the ones that put me on #1 on Google using those keywords. So therefore, you're going to be saying, how do you market yourself? Shooting video, writing blogs, sharing these blogs on your social media, onto your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your TikToks, and whatever other platforms that you want to be on. It takes being on there on a continuous level. The next is going to be, if I'm going to be a coach or a trainer or something like that, do I need to be certified? And that, I would say, is for the most part, you do not need a certification. All you need is an expertise. Now, the certification can help with your credibility when somebody says, hey, you are a XYZ coach, and you've got a certificate saying that you're an XYZ coach from a well-known certified institution. That does help. However, by having your life experiences, however, by having that expert skills or that expert knowledge in your particular area can go a long way. If somebody has been doing this for over 20 years, well, that could actually have a lot more weight than say somebody, hey, I've been doing this for 3 months and I've got this certificate. Well, the person with 20 years, like, you've gone through the school of hard knocks. You've learned what it was like to be where you're at right now, and you probably have helped over hundreds and hundreds of people, and you learned a lot from that. The next question would be, how do I structure my coaching sessions? Well, when you're having a coaching sessions with your clients, doesn't matter if it's group or if it's a one-on-one, how you want to structure is that you want to start off with things like, what are your wins? What was your win since the last time we talked? You always want to start off with a win, because now we're talking about being on a positive subject, on a positive note. And then you go through your session, depending on if you're more of a consultant or a coach, is that you're going to cover the particular topics that you want to be covering, as well as getting feedback from them, making sure they have a Q&A so they can get their questions answered, especially with all of this new material. And then you lead them with some exercise or some homework for them to do until the next time that you talk, which could be in 1 week, could be in 2 weeks, could be a month, however you're going to be structuring it up. Now, I do suggest that you do, especially if you're just starting out, is to have your the delay between your different coaching sessions to be shorter than longer, just so that you can get more knowledge and you can start building that out for you. Now, remember, you can always go ahead and change how you do things. How you run your first coaching session could be very different than how you run your fifth coaching session. And I'm talking about your fifth set of coaching sessions. You may say, well, this worked, this does not work, and just tweak it from there. The next question is, how do I handle difficult people? Now, this is a huge thing, because no matter what your business is, there always is going to be a time when somebody's not going to be happy with what they thought that they were paying for to what they got. Maybe you've seen this in a restaurant, or you've seen somebody in a customer service line at a store that they're returning an item. Sometimes they're happy, they're okay. Other times they're really, really angry. So how you handle difficult people is always to remain calm. Don't let your emotions get away with you or through you. So you always want to remain calm and be professional. Now, if the difficult person is contacting you by other means and in-facing confrontation, let's say they're sending you an email or a voice message or a message on Facebook or LinkedIn, I would say when you respond to them, don't respond emotionally. And I would even go further to say, write the response, but don't send it for another 24 hours. Because when you're writing the response, you may be unknowingly putting in a lot of anger words into your thing. But if you wait 24 hours or at least 6 hours or 8 hours before you respond, and then you reread it like, is this the response that I want to send? If it is not, go ahead and reword it. If it is, then go ahead and hit the send button. The next question is people ask is, what kind of insurance do I need? Well, this is going to be dependent upon your kind of business. I would definitely talk with a person that does business insurance and ask them, what is it that I need? Do I need, like I could say, a general liability in case somebody does sue? For an example, let's say you owned a restaurant, you owned a store, or you own something like that, and somebody slips and falls. Now, regardless if it's your fault or not, they could actually come out and sue you. So you always want to make sure that you are protected as best as possible for whatever it is that you're going to be doing. For an example, also, when I was in real estate and when I was a real estate agent, my broker had what was known as E&O insurance, which stands for errors and omissions insurance. This was for in case any kind of contract issue came up because of what I was doing as a real estate agent, or it's from the broker's perspective from what any of the agents are doing, regardless if they were highly experienced or if they were actually just brand new. The next question is, how do I balance the difference between a case study as well as confidentiality? Now, whenever you're doing your coaching sessions, you may have a confidentiality clause in your contract and say that nobody here is going to share what they learned from another person, when they were sharing a personal story with anybody else outside of the group. Now, the reason you want to have that confidentiality is so that people feel safe, that they can actually be emotional, they can actually share what their experiences are. Sometimes this is going to be great wins, and sometimes these are going to be like huge losses, or somebody may say, my wife left me, my husband left me, whatever that confidentiality is. Now, if you're going to be doing a case study, you want to make sure that the person that you're going to be sharing the case study is about is aware that you're going to be doing this. Now, obviously, you can always give it making it anonymous or maintaining anonymity. But the thing is, you say I had this one student who blank. So you are still sharing a little bit, but you're not telling them who they are. Now, a case study could be where a testimonial, or you're sharing that, hey, Mary S. had this kind of an experience. Now, Mary S. needs to be aware that you are going to be sharing that in case somebody happens to actually know who she is. The next question is, how do I stay current in my coaching field or as a consultant? And the best way to do that is to actually be a student as well. This means attending other workshops, other seminars, buying into other courses, reading books, watching YouTube videos, staying current on your current avenue or your current field of interest. The reason that you want to stay current is because things do change. For an example, when I'm shooting this video, earlier in 2023, this new thing became mainstream, known as artificial intelligence. Now, you can say, okay, I got my new business, now this AI is out now, how can I incorporate this into my business? So that's going to be you becoming a student again, putting on that student hat and going out there and learning all the new stuff. Things do change on a regular basis, so you definitely want to stay current. So for those of you that are like software engineers, or when I was a realtor, and if you're a doctor, a chiropractor, whatever, there are these things that are required to maintain your license, known as continual education or CE courses. So always be aware that if you can take some continual education, to do so that you stay current in your field, so that you can provide the best services possible. The next and most last question is, how do I have effective time management? Now, when you're doing time management, one of the things I strongly recommend is to put any and all of the things that you're going to be doing in your business as well as your personal life onto your calendar. I would suggest using Google Calendar only because it integrates so well with so many other platforms. So that, let's say for an example, if you have a Calendly account or a QD account or one of those where other people can schedule onto your calendar, you want to make sure that you block out all the times that you're not going to be available. This will help eliminate somebody saying, hey, I want to go and meet up with this person at noon on Wednesday. And you say, well, I was supposed to be meeting my girlfriend on noon on Wednesday for lunch. And now you're double booked. Now, you would either have to go cancel that luncheon with your girlfriend, or you may have to go tell your client, I'm sorry, I'm not available at that time. Can you rebook? Now, there's a good chance that person may actually not rebook because of saying, who is this person? Who is this guy? I mean, I booked a time he said was available, and now he's not available. So you want to make sure that you had the best time effective or time management, especially during the work days that you are actually available, is to put everything onto your calendar. Now, for me, I take it an extra step. I color code personal codes versus business calls versus let's say going to the gym or something along those lines. I color code everything so I know which hat I'm going to be wearing during that particular time frame. You don't have to be as analytical as that. However, you do want to make sure that you book all your appointments, all your personal and business appointments onto your calendar. And one other thing that you want to make sure you do is make sure that you also, in case you're driving to an appointment or driving home from the appointment, is you also put the drive time on there as well. Because the last thing you want to do is say, hey, I'm meeting my girlfriend for lunch from 12 to 1, and then somebody books at 1:15, and it takes you 30 minutes to get back to your office, and now you're trying to do everything from your car, or you're leaving lunch early because of you forgot to adjust for the drive time. And the last question new entrepreneurs and new coaches may have is, how do I handle my finances and taxes? Now, I have this thing in my book called Launch the A to Z in Creating a Successful Business, where you are actually going to create what I call the 7-bucket system. The 7-bucket system essentially is meaning that you're going to have 7 accounts, bank accounts, they could be, or cash accounts, or however you want to look at it. If you're looking at bank accounts, this is going to be possibly a mixture of savings as well as checking. And each of these different accounts will have different purposes. Now, I would always recommend that you put at least 10 to 15% of any transaction that you collect money on into one account, which is going to be a tax account. When you're an entrepreneur, your taxes are not being taken out of your paycheck like you were a 9-to-5 employee. So you're going to have to account for this. When you become a full-time entrepreneur, you're not going to be getting back a tax refund for the most part. You're going to have to be paying every single year. So this is why you want to make sure that you are like when you're taking that money out of your 9-to-5 paycheck and it goes to the government, and then they will refund you at the end of the year or the beginning of the following year. In this particular case, you need to be able to pay that 10 to 15% amount. Some people maybe even say put 20%. If you're a high wage earner, you want to make sure that you have enough going in. I knock it down to 10 to 15 because I know I will have write-offs. So that's going to knock off a little bit of that on that 20%. So go ahead and do that. Now, when you get done with your first year, and let's say on average you were paying 8%, but you were putting 15% away in there, maybe you lower it down to 10. Or maybe one year you say, you know what, I'm putting 10% away and I had to fund into my tax account. Well, maybe now it's time to be putting 12 or 15% into that one account. Pretend this is going to be the government's money. Because if you just wait until the end of the year and then you got to write a check out of your main account, you're going to say you may not even be able to afford it. So you want to make sure that you account for that. Now, other parts of the 7-bucket system is going to be things like for long-term investments, is going to be into other kinds of emergency savings, and whatever it is that you're going to be doing. But at least maintain one additional, and I would normally suggest a savings account that you put in just between that 10 to 15 or even 20% of all of your taxes or all of your income into that account, so that will be the one that's going to be to the IRS. So I hope this has helped you out. We've gone through the 15 of the biggest questions newer entrepreneurs, newer coaches, newer trainers ask. And I want to make sure that you are free and understanding of all of these different 15 questions. If you have any other questions, go ahead and re-watch this video or possibly even respond to it. You can always like, share, and comment on anything that you see in this video. And guys, I enjoyed talking with you guys. And until next time, be amazing.